Hi, I'm Guy Cosmo from Extreme Speed Motorsports, Tequila Patron Racing. We're going to do a little safety 101 on cockpit safety. First, we've got the most important thing. The driver's got to sit in a seat that isn't going to go anywhere or deform under an impact. We've got a nice sturdy seat here from O&P. It's made of carbon fiber. It's molded to the driver. It's on a really strong set of safety slats that allow the drivers to slide forward and back, adjust for each different driver height. But in the event of an impact, that seat isn't going anywhere, and that's the most important part. Second part is seatbelts. You're going to have a crash, got to have your seatbelt on. And in fact, even if you're not going to have a crash, drivers always got to have their seatbelts on. We wear a 5-point safety harness in the cars, submarine belt, 2 lap belts, and 2 shoulder belts. You're nice and snug in the car. You're not going anywhere. That's the most important thing. The biggest component of cockpit safety is the roll cage inside any of the race cars. Whether it starts out as a car that comes off of the production line or a car that was built specifically for racing, there has to be a very strong roll cage inside the car in the event of big impacts. Side impact, the car happens to get upside down and rolls on its roof. A steel cage that's welded inside the chassis of these cars, very strong, strategically placed, all of these bars everywhere are there for a reason. And every inch diameter, the thickness of the tubing, everything is really important to make sure that in the event of a big impact, none of this is going to crush down on the driver. You're going to keep your driver safe. Next big concern is fire. Last thing any driver ever wants to deal with, but if there's a fire in the car, every car is outfitted with a fire bottle system, which is a high pressure system. It's contained in the car, and we've got one button just in case we need to push it when all the fire breaks loose. We're going to push this button right here. We've got nozzles throughout the cockpit and also in the engine bay. As soon as we push that button, the fire extinguishers go off and try to dissipate the fire as quickly as possible. One thing not necessarily considered safety, but ultimately it is about driver comfort. The cars get very hot during the races. We see temperatures of nearly 130 to 140 degrees inside the cockpit in a worst case scenario. So we do a lot of things to keep the drivers cool, keep their core temperatures down, and keep us from passing out and dehydrating while we're driving. Very bad situation to run into on a really hot day. We've got a cooler with water here. It's called the drink bottle system. There's actually a windshield washer fluid pump that we push the button on the steering wheel. And once our radio and drink bottle's plugged into the seat here, I have a tube that I leave in my mouth, and when I push this button on the steering wheel, it pumps water in so that I can take a drink whenever I need to. We've got fans that move air around in the cockpit. A lot of time and effort has been gone into exhausting the hot air from the cockpit to the outside of the car, bringing in fresh air. We've also got an air-conditioned helmet blower system. Down below all these fancy things over here, we've got some tubes that run up and blow cooler air that we connect to our helmet so we can get a bit of a breath of fresh air, and it lowers the temperature about 18 degrees from ambient. So if it's 100 degrees outside, at least we're not breathing in 100-degree air or whatever the ambient is inside of the car. So those are all the features of our Tequila Patron Extreme Speed Motorsports Ferrari. Keep yourself safe, wear your seatbelt at home. Thanks for watching Safety 101.